Good evening, and welcome to another episode of The Take here on the College Football Mafia Network. I am one third of the Big Ten Mafia, joined by the other two thirds of the Big Ten Mafia tonight here on The Take. Sergeant Pickles and Becky Go Huskies in the house. How are you guys doing tonight? How are you doing, Sergeant Pickles?
Another beautiful day after darkness in the Pacific Northwest. I kind of miss those evening 10 p.m. sunsets in the summer.
What about you, Becky?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm enjoying the gloom for now.
For
Speak for
now.
yourself.
I see. For me personally, I like daylight savings time. I like the extra hour of sleep. I like that it gets dark quicker. Chickens go to bed earlier. It's nice.
I
Um,
mean, we got to see the aurora borealis yesterday at
that
True.
5 p.m.
supposedly,
So.
yeah, north of the 70 corridor here in Ohio, you're going to be able to see it tonight. So, um, I'm not north of the 70 corridor though, so I guess I'll miss out. But I've seen it before. I've smoked it before. The Northern Lights, yes, very good. Um, we're going to be talking tonight heavy uh, about the Big Ten Public Capital Investment Fund deal, the controversy that's been going on, the derangement that's been going on. Uh, Greg Flugar is highly rattled by it. Let me say that. I'll just say he's rattled. Uh, you guys, of course, both represent the University of Washington. I represent the Ohio State University. I'm going to give you my point of view. I'd love to hear your point of view. And we'd love to finally hear everybody in the chat's point of view on this. Um, Lots of misinformation out there. The real information is getting obscured and obfuscated, but we're going to try and bring it all to you. So let's start with you, Pickles. What are your views? Are you for or against the public capital deal?
I was on the wait and see train when this kind of first came out because I thought we lacked details. We have some of those details now, not all of them. And the more I hear, the less optimistic I get. Because when you're asking someone to invest, it's ultimately there's no such thing as free money, and they want a return on their investment. And I haven't seen a real concrete plan of what these schools are planning to turn the money they're getting into a profit and return for said investors. I'm wondering if they're frankly, I'm wondering if they're just going to squander all of it and put the conference in a worse situation.
Okay, Becky, what do you think?
I mean, we don't have all the details. I'm not, and I want to say I'm not. I'm not going to blindly follow the University of Washington and just act like it's a great thing. And I wouldn't blindly follow Michigan and USC, who are saying it's a bad thing. I am still right in the middle. I want to see more details. I like the concept of it, but I have serious questions about how the private capital company essentially is going to make their money back. That's just kind of like that's where my thing is. But that doesn't really affect the Big Ten in any way. So just more or less like I don't want to see it. My thing is I just don't want to see a lawsuit in like 10 years for something silly like money.
Yeah, I have to put it this way. I don't know what the deal is, but I do trust that Ohio State is making the right deal, and it's not just Ohio State. You mentioned Washington is supportive of this. Washington is a very good academic institution. I would think the president who you hired has a bearing on what exactly this deal is. And you're right, we don't know what all the details are, but we do know that there are people out there putting out details that are probably less than accurate. The payday loan thing has been drug through the mud and put down in the mud and shot in the head. This is not a payday loan. It's not. This is selling an equity stake into a entity called Big Ten Enterprises. I'm looking for the post right now that lists kind of everything that's actually true about it. that has been misaligned. But before I find that,
I'm looking at it more like, because it's the Big 12, the Big 10 enterprises thing. This is more of like getting an investor to give you the capital you need to really keep it above, like, like any of us, if any of us were to start like a Big 12, if Bomber decided to take college football mafia and become a national media company, he would have to have an investor like this behind it, right? So this is kind of like the same thing, except it's like the owners, which are the 18 school presidents, have essentially come out and said, we'll give you 10% of our brand new enterprise for, $2 billion. I sound like I'm on Shark Tank. Sounds like Shark Tank, does it not? Like, like that's what it is. It's Shark Tank. That's how they presented it. And now they have their investor and they're just working out the little details, right? Like that's what it feels like. And I think you're right, Mo. And I think I want to trust all of these great, smart people who clearly, like, their business school, like, I would think that the school presidents leaned on their business school, like, deans or whatever, to like really like hammer it out and make sure it sounds right before they say yes or no. But we just don't know all the details. And maybe that's the only thing that's got me a little scary. What does Michigan and USC know that we don't, that's got them on edge?
Let's be very clear first.
Yeah.
USC was on board with this.
Correct.
The holdouts were Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio State made concessions to get on board with this. After that happened, Michigan and USC had a football game, and following that, then USC got off board with it.
Yeah.
So they were on board with it under the current situation, the current formation of this equity stake, and they got off board with it after discussing with Michigan.
Yeah, I would think that, this one, they do these little parties and get-togethers for the Board of Regents and big donors at both schools, and they either do them the day of the game, during the game, night before the game. At some point, I think that's where they got into their ear. But because USC is a private school, we'll never really know. We'll never know the details on what made them go, oh, this isn't a good idea suddenly. But I think Michigan's like, what is it, Moen? And correct me, Moen, if I'm wrong. It was a board of regent for Michigan who said it was a payday loan?
I can tell you who the board of regent is, because I believe the leaks that are coming out are coming directly from that board of regent. That board of regent's name is Jordan Acker. And if you have any doubt on that, and this is me just alleging it, and if you want to sue me, Jordan, sue me. You're a lawyer, you can do it. He's actually out there reposting media members. He reposted a post from Matt Hayes. He is basically reposting stuff, which just leads me to believe he is feeding his own ego, because he is the one who's putting this out there. And for those who don't know, the University of Michigan Board of Regents are elected. They are elected in a general election. Mr. Acker was elected. He narrowly won over an incumbent, but he was elected. And I think he's responsible for most of this. And I'm just going to put this out here. The man is a politician. He served in a previous administration. He has shown a political ambition before. There are 2 huge seats up in the state of Michigan in 2026, one being a Senate seat, the other being the governor's mansion. I would be shocked if Jordan Acker does not put his name in the hat for one of those things. And I would be shocked if he is not using this to up his political profile.
Yeah. See, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I think he's doing it. I think it's one member of the Michigan Board of Regents. That's it. I think it's just him, because nobody else has been named. Nobody else is, like you said, nobody else is reposting this stuff on Twitter or X or whatever. And he's the only name that's popped up in like news articles from, the Los Angeles Times. I think I've seen it in the New York Times, Washington Journal, like, all of the big, media companies. It's just very weird to me that he would compare it to a payday loan, knowing full well that it's not a loan. It's a literal investment. Like, they're giving them money to get money back, not like they're giving them money to pay the money back. You know what I mean? Like, it's a pension plan.
Yes,
Right?
Acker's been a regent for years. I'm not denying that, but he had to win that seat, and he won it over a Republican incumbent.
Who appoints? So he's a Republican.
No, he's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat. He was able to win it. So who appoints the board of regents?
In most states, it's the governor appoints the board of regents for a public school.
Yeah, I was like, in Washington, it's only like when and if a board of regent has to either be fired or they retire, essentially.
Right.
They step down. But like, those are so rare that it's like, governor rarely has a say. Like, so I don't even know the last time anyone's been fired.
And here is the thing that, you might not know about Jordan Acker. He was previously a political appointee in Washington, D.C. for the Obama administration. So he does have political experience. Definitely something to keep in mind.
And I mean, as I was saying, this is a pension plan, right? That's what it is. So, like, this is for California teachers, I believe. I'm not sure if it's university or like lower academics, like high school, whatever. But it's public university, or it's public people's pensions who are like educators. And this is how they make money, because it's a 401k before a 401k. Like, Pickles, you probably have a pension. No, they got rid of the pensions at Boeing. Oh,
that's right.
It sucks. But like, back in the day, you used to just have pensions and you just pay into it. And police officers still have them, but most companies switch to the 401k method. But like private, because private capital doesn't invest public money usually. So this is how they have to do it. They have to invest privately. So like, if this makes their people richer when they retire, they're going to do it. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, Moen.
It is. And let me pull this up here because I found the post. I had it bookmarked, but I had it bookmarked from Greg's. And this is important because I hear people keep saying it's a private equity deal. It's not. No, the Big Ten's $2.4 billion deal with UC Investments does not create debt for the schools or the conference. It is capital investment, not a loan. It's not private equity. UC Investments provides upfront cash in exchange for a 10% minority stake in Big Ten Enterprises, which is the new commercial subsidiary for the entire conference. There is no repayment obligation. UC is repaid through a proportional share of future revenue distributions over 20 years with an exit out at 15 years. Schools in the league do not owe anything back if revenues fall short. The risk sits with the investor. So, for example, they've invested $2.4 billion. 20 years from now, that investment comes out to $2 billion even. The Big Ten, none of the schools owe them that extra $0.4 billion. They don't. Now, listen, they may make more than $2.4 billion under that, but when they make more money, those schools also make more money, guys. It could be $3.1 billion, could be their return, and that's probably what they're hoping for. They want a return of investment. They want
there
ROI.
is an out, and there is an out. So, like, they can make the Big Ten could decide at a point, or you made $2.9 billion, you made half a billion dollars more. We're done. Like, you made your money. We're gonna keep what we have now and make even more. So
absolutely. Schools in the league do not. Okay, we did that. Revenues fall short. Yeah. Unlike traditional debt, bonds, payday loans, or bank loans, this carries no interest. There are no fixed payments. no collateral.
I'm just like, what would the collateral be? They get Purdue.
Yes,
that's all I can
what
say.
We got is collateral is Purdue.
You get Purdue. Like, I don't know what it would be. I'm just like threw university out there, but it's just funny.
Calling this deal a private investment is misleading and fuels more confusion with actual private equity deals like those the SEC and Big 12 are currently exploring. By the way, the SEC is partnered up with Goldman Sachs exploring private equity deals, not public investment, private equity. Long story short, there's a lot of people talking about this deal with not a lot of people who know what they are talking about. It's a public capital investment. So this story is getting twisted, I think. And I think there's one reason it's getting twisted. And I'm going to put it out there for you guys. It's big derangement syndrome. It is Big Ten derangement syndrome. Symptoms, obsession with the Big Ten, volatile emotions, irrational behavior, diagnosis, evaluation of Big Ten, desire to work for ESPN. It amazes me how many of these non-ESPN guys are ready to bury the Big Ten. Causes, conference realignment. People are still upset about conference realignment. Media narratives, what we're talking about right now. This is media narratives that are out here.
Which we need to point out, 2 former Ohio State alumni are just as guilty of this recently as anybody else, which is what's killing me.
Absolutely. Envy or jealousy, your pick. Here's your treatment. Media reduction. Don't buy into the media bullshit. Focus on other conferences. Yes, it's incredible that we've heard all these negative things surrounding the Big Ten's public capital investment, but none of these negative things were swirling around when the Big 12 was coming up with their private equity deal. When the SEC was working with Goldman Sachs, we know North Carolina has been very heavy on wanting private equity, private capital in the ACC. So why are we always focusing on the Big Ten? It's Big Ten derangement syndrome. It's a BDS. And if you see somebody suffering from BDS, please tell them to consult a physician as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm not a smart man, but when everybody tells me that there's no downsides, I'm still skeptical. And I understand it's a different type of investment than a pure private equity corporate type holding thing, because it is directed into a very specific type of funds. Those funds can still be managed poorly. It's not without risk. There's no such thing as free lunch. And obviously all the schools that are on board have projected that whatever they're going, and this is the part that I'm kind of on the fence about, whatever they're going to do with that money that they're receiving will generate more revenue than what they are giving up with that percentage, obviously, or they wouldn't say yes. So that's why I'm just curious. I haven't seen any concrete details of like, someone's handing you money, what are you going to do to actually generate return on that money?
Well, they're getting the money back, Pickles. They'd be getting it back. Since they own 10% of Big Ten enterprises, they'd be getting it back as part of the media package.
Right, but you're still surrendering a portion of what you, in theory, would get, right?
Correct. Total of 10%.
Right.
But 10%, it's like $20 million a year or whatever, maybe $200 million a year. But once they have their money back, the deal's over. Once they make their profit, whatever that they decide how much they get back in return and all that. Like,
the deal could be over, or they can extend it.
Yes.
And again, if UC pension fund ends up making $3.1 billion, that means the other 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, however many schools the Big Ten ends up at, they made more money too. What my understanding is UC Systems, I forget the gentleman. It's an Indian gentleman who runs the actual fund. He's done very good, had very good return of investment so far. But What he will do is they will form this Big Ten Enterprises, and through Big Ten Enterprises, they will take everything: meteorites, patches on jerseys, basically any way possible to use Big Ten intellectual property to make more money for the conference. So, but as far as the actual money that goes to each school, that's going to be at the discretion of each school. You know, money that goes to we've been talking in group chat about UCLA possibly leaving the Rose Bowl. Money that goes to UCLA may be to pay off the Rose Bowl, so that they can play at SoFi. And that's going to be up to UCLA. Everybody else is going to have their spending. You know, it's discretionary. It's discretionary funds for each school. So
it is. And I mean, like, we're seeing things like, and people don't even know this, but like Oregon, for instance, people consider Oregon this like really wealthy school, right? Fiscal year 24, Oregon was 24 million in the red. So like this helps offset that stuff and keep them out of the red so that they can continue to do the things they want to do without literally relying on whether it's Phil Knight or another mega booster to pay for certain things, whether like, you know, new sports facilities, you know, maybe it's replacing the turf inside, you know, Autzen. Same thing like Washington, they have stadium debt to pay off, like literally just interest payments, and it's for the football stadium and baseball stadium. That's all that they have to pay. But this would offset all of that. Like, it would make their bottom lines a little easier to meet and would allow the, you know, ADs to focus on other things. But I think everything is going up in costs right now. Everything is going up in costs. Travel costs are higher than what they were a year ago. Travel costs are actually higher than what they were 3 months ago when the football season started. Like, some of the schools are starting to find out that you know, like, this is not cheap. It would, like, they have the deals in place, but they're having to pay a little bit more for fuel and things like that when they get those bills for buses and all that other stuff. So it's just I like the idea of it. Like I said, like the idea of it. I understand there's tiers, and my school being new to the Big Ten, I don't really care where we sit. Like, I do think the old heads should get the higher amount of money because they're the ones that built the Big Ten brand. No offense to Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA. You didn't build the brand. You joined the brand. You know, it's like buying a McDonald's franchise and hoping, you know, you're just going to reap all the rewards, but you didn't start the franchise. You should go to the people who had the first couple of franchises should reap the bigger rewards in the beginning. And I think that's USC's issue, by the way. Like, they want to be with the older. They want to be with
Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State.
Yeah, because that's how they view themselves.
They view themselves as that way. And I've been honest before. I don't think that that's so huge an ask.
No, I don't.
Based off of their history, their blue blood status, I don't think that's that big of an ask. But what I do have an issue with is when you've agreed to a number, they've agreed to this, then Michigan got in their ear, and suddenly they've changed their mind. My second issue is Michigan going out there, instead of Michigan just saying, no, we're against it, Michigan has gone out of their way, or at least certain elements within the University of Michigan have gone out of their way to try and torpedo this deal. Out of their way. And what is their reasoning behind that? I believe, like I said, political aspirations, I think, plays a part in it. I think there's one regent in particular who has very high political ambitions. But I think the other problem in here is, too, you're going to see a lot more parity in the Big Ten if this money comes in. You are. You are.
I don't see how, because they're not even payouts. Like, Ohio State's still getting more, which is fine, but how would that possibly level? How would that level the playing field at all?
It's going to level the playing field against other conferences, though.
Oh, I thought you meant within the Big Ten. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
No. I mean, listen, the Big Ten is Big Ten is a top-heavy conference.
It is, yeah.
It's top-heavy, but I mean, our mids are really not that. some of our mids might lose to Wisconsin, who just installed a new offense.
Hey,
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But it's just, I think the reason Tony Petitti wants to do this, I think the reason a lot of these presidents want to do this is the same reason they wanted to do the Big Ten network. I think they look at this as future proofing the conference. And
well, I have a healthy skepticism, as you would imagine, of conference commissioners and ADs, because by the time the bill comes due for bad decisions, they usually don't have that job anymore.
that's true. No,
Sure.
you're very, very
They're
accurate.
very short-term thinking
Very
people.
fair. But you will know, you guys are PAC. You remember the Pac-12 network had no partners.
That's
It was
right.
the Pac-12. And how did it fare?
It would have been fine had they done a deal with DirecTV instead of just not doing DirecTV for whatever.
Well, it didn't work out well, whereas the Big Ten network had a partner in Fox. And sometimes having a partner that is deeply instilled and entrenched in your success is an extra security blanket. So I look at this deal as potentially the next Big Ten network deal.
I mean,
This
as long as it's not as bad as Larry Scott out there trying to sell igloos in the desert, we'll be okay.
Let's say hello to some people.
Yeah.
And let's get everybody who's angry and who disagrees on here.
There's a bunch of them.
Dallas Marquez says hello. Good to see you, Dallas. Laura Weiss says, hey, y'all. Good to see you, Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Bob Swanger says, hi, everyone. Good to see you, Bob.
Oh, that was heartbreaking on Saturday.
Yeah, that was rough.
Just an insane catch. Sean says, hi, guys. Good to see you, Sean. Nebraska Steve, the Northern Lights are awesome.
Is Nebraska the North? That's my question to Steve. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's above
It's the
Kansas.
I forgive the expression, but it is very mid in terms of latitude.
It's north because it's above Kansas.
Okay.
Sergeant Pickle says there's no such thing as free money. By the way, you can click that little cash icon underneath the chat window and leave a super chat or a super sticker, become a member or gift a membership. Forgot to do that spiel at the beginning. Steel Austin says, Mo, and everything Dillinger has reported about UC investment deal I've seen suggest it's a no-brainer deal for the big. It's literally a zero-risk deal. All the risk being taken is on UC investments. There's some risks, but it's a minimal risk deal is what I would refer to it as. It's minimal risks.
It may limit.
It's high reward. It's a high reward.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it may limit upside as opposed to like a pure private equity that could have crazy returns if it strikes gold. But again, risk mitigation is kind of what these schools should be doing, to be honest.
Ohio State's going to receive the most is why they're in. Well, Michigan would receive the most too. Why aren't they in? And to be fair to Ohio State's created more wealth for this conference over the last 25 years than any other entity within this conference.
Did we have that confirmed that Ohio State and Michigan would be same tier, same payout?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ohio
Okay.
State, Michigan, and Penn State would all be on the same tier. They would be top tier.
The Penn
USC
State one's kind of interesting, but
Yeah, USC would be one below, along with Oregon.
Washington, a few others. The funny part was, and I laughed at this because it's like Michigan and USC can't. They have all this influence, and suddenly it's just gone. It's gone. Like nobody cares. Like USC can't get the three West Coast schools on board with them, and Michigan can't get Washington to join in either. So Michigan and Washington have been having a great relationship since joining the conference. Like, very great.
Moen with his OSU biases on this platform. How dare I? How dare I?
I mean,
I want what's best for my university and what's best for my conference. And I think this is both.
A semi-neutral
How dare I.
observer to the Ohio State, Michigan of the world. Being biased doesn't make him wrong. I'm just saying.
I want what's best for Ohio State. I want what's best for the Big Ten Conference.
Yep.
I think this is a good deal for the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah, it doesn't do Ohio State any good to be king of the ashes. You know, you got to have a good conference around you.
Absolutely true. And you can say this about Ohio State. They made concessions, and they're the steward of the Big Ten. They said we will sign a grant of rights with these schools until 2046. We are all in until 2046. Michigan is the one who said no.
Which makes you wonder what Michigan's ideas are.
Yeah, really does. Evening Mafia, thank God for the Broncos, Nuggets, and Avs. Have a great show, Fergie. What are you talking about? I saw a Broncos game last week. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Man.
They won, but geez.
Yeah, the Broncos owe me 3 hours of my life back because they should have blown the Raiders out and didn't.
Yeah, I had several prop bets on that, and it was like, this person to score, that person didn't score a touchdown.
Typical Pete Carroll Thursday night football games, though.
Yes. Very, very emblematic of a Pete Carroll game.
Totally a Pete Carroll game.
I would like to know why the war of wills on the upcoming vote. Why not give time until all 18 have permanent presidents? Because I think the way the Board of Regents has structured itself in the University of Michigan, that they would just push and push and push to never have a permanent president.
Yeah. Like, you would think by now they'd have somebody, like, hired. And I say that because LSU fired theirs after Michigan, Michigan's left, and they already hired their person. So...
And here's the thing. This whole ordeal was started by Santaono when he was the coach at Michigan.
Yeah.
Or not coach, but president at Michigan. He started this whole ordeal. So,
by the way, I do want to point out Washington's president came from Illinois. He didn't have to be updated on any of this. He already knew all this. He was already having the discussions.
It's without a doubt the best deal the Big could ever get. Only risk is to UC Investments. They gave highest valuation of the Big could have gotten. Maybe overvalued the Big, but that's on UC Investments. Sure. 24 billion, I think that's a fair estimation.
Talking for 20 years, that's
yeah.
That's fair. I think
that's got to be forward looking over that amount of time.
Yeah.
Biggest problem I see with the deal is the Big is making a mistake not putting USC in the tier 1 with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. USC is a bigger brand than Penn State. The problem is Penn State has done better ratings-wise than USC has over the last 30 years.
Yep.
USC, being a West Coast team, does not draw the same amount of eyeballs as East Coast teams do. This was the problem that plagued the Pac-12.
Yeah, USC's biggest games were Washington, Oregon, UCLA, an occasional Stanford, and Notre Dame. And then whatever random first game
out of
of
conference.
Yeah. But that's it. And they didn't play Oregon and Washington every single year. They skipped them. So
it was better when we did. I'm just saying.
Well, even when, for 30 years, they didn't play Washington and Oregon every year. They played them maybe 12 times.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing. And the Pac-12 network did not help those ratings go because it wasn't Nielsen rated.
My concern is if the Big Ten sells 10% of its equity to UC Investments without consent of USC and UM, they will become conference independents who negotiate their own media rights like how Notre Dame does. They can do that in 2036. Or they can buy their way out now. If they want to come with, they've got huge endowments. They can obviously come and make an offer to the Big Ten to leave right now. That would be their decision. But again, I said on Sunday, where are they going to go where they don't have a deal like this? The SEC is negotiating with Goldman Sachs to come up with a private equity deal. So are they going to go to the SEC and sign a deal that's going to be private equity? Are they going to go to the Big 12, get a private equity deal, ACC private equity deal? They could go independent, but they're not going to make as much money. That's
well. Let's say they do. These are two schools that perceive themselves to be better than they are. Well, Michigan's really high. USC has always had, I mean, I could say this as a West Coast person, USC has always had this inflated ego, per se. Best way to describe it, right? Like, they always thought they were better than everybody because they're quote unquote USC and they win a lot of national titles. And they're the quote blue blood of the West Coast. But like, where are you going to go? The SEC, where you're suddenly like 8th on the totem pole? Because that's how the SEC is going to view you. You're going to go to the Big 12, where if your mark comes out and says, oh, yeah, with you guys, we're not going to make 50 million, 55 million a year in a media deal. Do you really think USC and Michigan are going to want to take the same amount of money as Houston?
The solution for USC is obvious. They're going to go hang out with Stanford in the ACC.
Yeah. Once, after Florida State and Clemson bounce?
Go hang out with Miami every year. It'd be so much fun.
But my point is, you're going to have the same issue wherever you go, short of being independent. Yes, you can go independent, but I mean, I believe even Notre Dame has looked at deals like this to sell equity in Notre Dame. So there's
Notre Dame's got the Catholic Church behind them.
Yeah,
Literally.
I don't know how you escape this.
I don't either. There's professional sports are doing this. The Boston Celtics had
The NBA does it. Yes, the NBA has a whole ordeal.
Teams that have sold parts of their team to private equity. Now that's private equity, not private capital or whatever. But like some of the private equity that came up for the Big Ten bought, like one of them bought like 20% of the Boston Celtics or something like that.
Yeah, you can.
Are we certain that the Celtics didn't just lose part of their team own percentage in a backroom game of craps or something?
Right?
Well, with all the gambling issues in the NBA, who knows anymore?
Well, but like
who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like there's a bunch of this stuff happening in professional sports that we're already starting to see. Like Larry Ellison buying, trying to buy teams outright. Now his company's investing into NFL and baseball and all that. So like everybody's doing it. What they're trying to do, like I said, I think it's just to try to get, and I think Moen's right here, I think it's to try to get Big Ten enterprises off the like ground room floor. Get it elevated, get it to a point where it's like, oh, it's a big thing. Because I mean, you've got schools like Kentucky, by the way, who are now, their athletic department's now like an LLC or something like that, if I recall. Like, this is the only way to do this. You have to have money on the backside. You have to have somebody willing to give you the money to get it going. And Fox is doing it clearly with the media deal. NBC, CBS, they're getting their money. They're doing their thing. But like, I understand all the negatives. I understand all the positives. But like, this isn't a loan. This is all on the investor.
Buckshot Kid says at one point the Ontario Teachers Pension Fund also used to own the Toronto Maple Leafs. So
that's why hatred of the Montreal Canadiens is built in. It was taught, in schools all around Toronto at a young age.
Oh my.
It's a public capital investment. You're absolutely right. I've heard that USC is unhappy that they'd get $50 million less per year than Ohio State would get from this deal. Again, Ohio State has done more to put value into the Big Ten over the last 25 years than any other school.
Yeah, and it's nowhere near like they would be getting 50 million less. It's like 10 to 15 or something like that.
Yeah, it's not 50 million.
It's not 50 million.
Yeah, the math doesn't.
1 million a year or something like that. It's just like, if that.
Yeah, the tiers I imagine aren't like percentage-wise aren't that separated. Otherwise, the lower tier schools just would say no.
That would be a huge no. Like you're not going to see Rutgers. Let's say Rutgers is
like double or triple. Yeah, no.
They're not going to sit back and go like Minnesota's like, oh no, we're not taking 18 million while Ohio State's getting 75. Like that's not. Like that's not happening.
What if BDS lasts longer than 4 hours? Becky's right. Consult ESPN. Give them a call and see if they've got an opening for you yet. And if they don't, call them back in 15 minutes. Change your voice. Friends call me Sean. Breaking news. Anything that may threaten SEC dominance shall be demonized. We now return you to your regular programming. And that's very true. I get asked a lot, why now? Why now? Why so quick? I think part of this is the Big Ten is on a hot streak right now. Won 2 national championships in football. Look at the polls. We've got the top 2 teams in the country, Ohio State and, believe it or not, Indiana. Yes, Indiana. And I think they want to keep that hot streak going. And I think we keep a hot streak going by putting money into the programs, which allows better facilities, better recruiting options, better coaches, and,
And I mean, like,
better,
let's be blunt here. Indiana's the number 2 team in the country, Moen. What tier are they in?
they're in 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not at the top tier.
But here's the thing about the tiers, though, too. The way these tiers are set up, they're competitive based. You can climb out of a tier up to another tier.
Yeah.
You can fall from a tier down to another tier. I don't think there's anybody that's. I think the ones at the top are 100% locked in at the top.
Oh,
No,
sure.
no. They could fall if and they would fall if, say, Penn State, you have an issue like what Penn State had a decade ago.
Okay.
But it would take
But you
something
could
like-
always get back up.
Yeah, you can get back into it. Like if Ohio State, and I think Ohio State fans aren't dumb fans, if suddenly you guys couldn't get above 500 for like 6 years, you're gonna stop watching until you get above 500. Like,
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. But like, it could happen because of. I mean, hell, we just saw what happened with Michigan State. Weird things happen.
It's true. It's true, but I think it's nice that this allows you to make it's almost a relegation tier system now, and we've heard people going nuts about relegation tiers.
It's like weird to me.
College Football Express wants me to show them the money.
Well, Jerry Jones is an Arkansas booster, so you'll have to go ask Jerry.
And Wisconsin's punter was the leading passer this weekend.
Boy,
Daniel Gygax.
I don't recall this game. Alcohol made sure of that.
Oh, I recall this game, and I also recall going, where the fuck did this offense come from? I've never seen them run this play in my life. They just ran it 6 times in a row. What is going on?
I think the offenses of Wisconsin and Washington decided to swap jerseys at the start of the game. We were running old Luke Fickell. We are just like, Jed Fish was like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he got a little cocky and thought we could just coast and.
Okay. Random ranting Washington side note. Jed Fish, for whatever reason, when he goes on the road, his offensive play calling brain just like falls out his butt.
I swear to God,
I don't understand.
In Seattle. No, he did the same thing. I had to look this up. He was not good on the road at Arizona either.
No, but he'll look. I expect him to be totally fine against Purdue this weekend in Seattle, and it'll look great. And I was like, oh, what happened? I don't get it.
They're going to smoke Purdue. We're going to be like,
rant
we can
complete.
Do that, but we can't beat freaking Wisconsin.
Yeah. Congratulations, Badgers. You are now 1-4 all time against Washington. We are still the real UW.
Edward Wilson says, let TTUN go. Bye, Felicia. They can go. Bring their money. Bring the checkbook. They've got plenty in that endowment fund. I would happily allow them to sell their grant of rights back to them through, and they can go do whatever they want. But they're going to have to pay for it.
Is that Texas Tech? Are they going to buy their way? They're going to buy their way into some conference.
No, it's the team up north.
That team up north. Jennifer Hillerman, good to see you, Jennifer. They have ruined everything they touch. You guys are crazy to get involved with them. The UC pension system actually has a very high rating.
I was going to say, they're...
very high rating, very well managed.
I wouldn't trust California for much financial advice, but pension systems generally are pretty milquetoast as far as money goes.
I mean, it's the 5th largest economy on the planet. I trust them. I don't trust people to invest money unless I know who they are.
Yeah,
You know,
California
I don't have
makes.
any say in them, so.
Yeah, as the Cal and UCLA situation proves, California makes money hand over fist. They just also like setting most of it on fire for some reason. But the UC pension system is generally pretty mild. I think it's a good place to start.
I couldn't find anything really truly negative about the pensions stuff.
Yeah, and the guy who runs it apparently gets very good returns year after year.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's why they keep keeping him around. They won't get rid of him. He does a very good job on that.
Skevin yes says hello to both of you and says good to see Washington friends have recovered.
Who said we recovered?
I don't know if recovered's the right word.
I'm drinking a soda tonight because I can't have any more alcohol. My liver's rejecting it.
Let's just say if I didn't have to work at 4 a.m. on Monday morning, it would have continued on until probably today.
If I didn't have the Seahawks blessed in my life right now,
yeah, that's true.
This would be a rough week.
All right, folks, about to watch my Piston now. Have a great rest of the night. I will not say that. But you guys can say that word. I'm not.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
There you go.
Go Blue.
Beat us this year, fair and square. I can say it.
It was a fun game though. It was a really good game until the turnovers. But they needed it. We were kind of really mean to their baseball team.
Why could they not issue Big Ten bonds rather than sell equity stakes? You would have interest.
Yeah.
Bonds still carry interest.
I don't even know how you would go about insuring those bonds.
Also, I don't know who would pay for that.
Yeah.
How would you be responsible as a school?
Yeah, that's a pretty complicated. I get that schools do it all the time for things like stadiums. They do state-backed bonds for public projects, but those get expensive very quickly.
To be honest, they use their endowment as the collateral. So I don't know what the collateral would be.
You'd have to insure it somehow, and for that amount of money, that'd be an insane thing to try and.
So I don't know what the collateral would end up being on it. But that's why I said, we could just give them Purdue. Sell that. Sell Purdue.
Why are we picking on Purdue?
You guys are shitting on Purdue, and you've got to play.
I didn't.
I got to steal on somebody.
They've had a much better season than I thought. I'll put it that way.
You know what? I swear to God, if Jed loses that game, though, he's going to be run out of Washington by Sunday.
We'll pay Florida to take him if he loses.
Some booster is going to be like, "What's his buyout?" Done.
Yep.
Steel Austin, bonds or debt financing, public capital isn't debt.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of. Which brings me to my next point of discussion. I've seen a lot of people support Smash Capital League, the CSFL, Project Rudy. How are those funded? Those are funded through private equity. Why is private equity fine for that, but public capital is awful for the Big Ten?
Rules for thee, but not for me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's because their school's not involved in it. It is which is fine. I mean, but at least call it like it is. It's like people going out here and saying, "Oh, this public capital, the Big Ten Civil War," the Civil War. There's no Civil War. There's a disagreement. It'll get figured out by the 21st of November. That's when the vote's supposed to be. This will get figured out.
I'll be blunt. They're not going to turn down money. They're not stupid enough to turn down any money. And if they do turn down the money, it's don't sit there and think they're going to go independent because some dude in West Virginia tweeted it. And they haven't even thought about it.
On the USC Michigan front specifically, it's not. If it was a hard no, I think we would have heard much more about this whole thing by now. This to me is just haggling via social media about what they're getting.
Let me just say this. They are meeting daily.
Yeah.
The ADs meet daily about this topic. So it's not like, and we were saying in our private chat, because I found out through my source that some of the board of regents haven't heard all of the details and board of governors. And it's like, well, yeah, because they don't have all of the details. Like, that's just their thing. They don't have all of the details. They can't present everything yet. So it's like, let's give it a little bit of time. Like I said, we don't know if Michigan's administration and everything is on board, or as well as USC's, but we just know that somebody who has to say yes, which would probably be which we know is a board regent for USC, and clearly a board regent or governor for USC, is not on board, and that's enough to make them pause. It's somebody powerful on there. So that's all we know.
I fear this equity fund deal might prevent any hopes of a college football super league. Well, there you go, Nebraska Steve. If you're against private equity, you have to be against the super league. Both those super leagues were funded by private equity.
That super league 100% would be funded by private equity, and they would probably own like 20%.
They would own more, I would imagine. Yeah.
I would imagine they would own a chunk of it. Oh, yeah. We're getting like $8 billion, but like 2.5 billion is coming from private equity. You're like, oh.
I would just, listen, if I'm the Big Ten, if I'm these other teams right now, if I'm Ohio State, Penn State, take a little less, offer USC top tier, and see if that doesn't make USC stop complaining. Do you think if USC was in top tier with those three schools, you think that would be enough to satisfy whoever this vote of dissension is or voice of dissension is?
From what I've heard, absolutely.
Yeah, because even they couldn't talk themselves into being over Ohio State.
Like I said, they were all for that second tier until somebody said, wait a minute, you guys are USC.
Yeah.
Why are you getting the same amount of money as Oregon and Washington?
I think it's way less. It's way less about them not being in the top tier than it is who is alongside them in the second tier, in my opinion. Because Becky and I know how USC thinks of themselves.
Yeah, it's somebody in that second tier that they don't want to be associated with.
That's right.
It's Oregon, and we can just say it's Oregon.
Say it. I didn't want to
does not want to be. Yeah, they don't want to be involved. They don't want to be seen as the same level as Oregon.
Yep. And like Oregon's the new kids on the block. I get it. Even like Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan don't want to be associated on that level. But like, eventually, they're probably going to be there one day, guys. Eventually, they're going to win some national titles and move up. It's going to happen one day.
It's going to happen. And I'll say it as an Ohio State. It should have happened last year, but
it should have happened last year.
Should have happened last year.
I thought it would happen this year, but like, clearly they've got some road issues, but like, it's part like
should have happened last year, but I digress. I think
if they play anybody else, Moen, it probably does happen.
But I don't have an issue making USC top tier. I understand where, yes, they're new to the, and this is the argument I had with Rock on Sunday night. USC came into this conference and got full payout. No other expansion candidate got that.
Well, UCLA did.
Well, UCLA, okay, right? USC and UCLA.
But they came in with the deal. Like, to get the deal, they had to come up. Like,
USC is the reason UCLA got a full payout.
Yeah. But I mean, that's, it's not like the Big Ten has mistreated USC.
No.
The Big Ten has been very, very generous with USC to a fault.
I mean, if you look no further than Washington and Oregon's schedules.
And that's what I was going to bring up. Washington and Oregon did not get that sweetheart deal.
No.
Washington and Oregon are having to take loans against future earnings to make things work, travel-wise.
Both are doing it. Don't let anybody say both aren't doing it. No.
They're both doing it.
The travel costs are a little out of control right now. They both have to. It's like $10 million a year, but like you get $20 million a year from the playoff. There you go. It offsets eventually anyway.
Absolutely. So let's break this down. I want to talk to you guys both as Washington fans. Let's say this deal gets done. 21st, Michigan finally, USC gets added to top tier. Michigan can no longer fight it. The one region can no longer fight it. It gets through. What would you like to see Washington do with this money?
Oh, what do I want them to do, or what are they going to do? Because I can
What do
answer
you What do you
both.
want them to do? Okay, do both. What do you
Okay.
want? What do you see?
I mean, what I would want them to do is obvious. It's stuff they're already doing. Like they're totally reinvesting in the basketball program, training facilities. Basically, for your sports is in the era of possibly having to cut sports, like providing things for student athletes, especially in the non-revenue sports, because that is a big thing at Washington. We have a lot of non-revenue sports we're really proud of, and I don't want to see those start to go by the wayside like our wrestling program did some years ago. What they're going to do is pay off the stadium and all these giant, insane construction projects that have racked up tons of debt for the school. So,
Yeah, I mean, like, I would like to say, like, wrestling went away because of Title IX, by the way. Like, we had no choice.
yeah, right. But
But
Title IX,
we have more
yeah,
women in school than we do men, so we have to have more women's sports than we
right.
offer men's. It's just a weird
But
thing.
instead of
But
making like disc golf or something a
yeah, but we
scholarship
do have
sport,
disc
they
golf.
cut wrestling.
Yeah,
So
but we still have disc golf, and they were national champs last year.
yeah, okay. Side note:
Really
make the
good.
hockey teams scholarship sports. We have really
Yeah,
good hockey teams. Come on
they're
now.
really good.
Yeah.
They are so good. Like, I think they're playing Utah soon. Anyway, no, I like, we just built a brand new basketball facility because we used to have swimming, and then we just realized, like, nobody goes to watch this. Nobody's paying to use the pool. Like, the pool's really, really expensive, and it doesn't get used because it's cold here, 8 months out of the year. So they just got rid of the swim and dive team, which was actually producing gold medalists and stuff. They tore it down. They built a football facility. Or a basketball facility. We've upgraded the football facilities. We've upgraded baseball facilities. The softball team got their very own softball facility, like actual like building. A lot of people know that. They got their own building on campus. Aside from that's just for practicing and like locker rooms and video and all that stuff, aside from the stadium. But I think they would take that money. They would, I think they'll be very smart with it. They're going to put it toward travel costs because I think they want to stop taking money from the future if they can. And I think they're going to turn around and they're going to use a good chunk of it because there is talk of building a new softball stadium. I think they're going to do that, and then they'll be able to tear down the old softball facility and build more practice facilities for the football team. So, because there's also talk of building a new indoor facility too for the football.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we've talked quite a bit about the Big Ten capital, public capital deal. We're going to end the public capital deal talk for that.
Good.
Let's talk a bit. Let's go to a Big Ten Mafia throwback, and let's talk about some of the Big Ten games this weekend, guys.
Do we have to?
We have to.
We have to.
There were some games. Let's see. Where should we start? Well, let's go ahead and start with Wisconsin, Washington.
I'll do it. I'll tell you exactly what happened. They give Luke Fickell credit. He realized, I don't have a quarterback that's good enough to play against the Big Ten teams. Now, we saw a true freshman running back play against Oregon, and he ran all over Oregon. Like people would go watch that game. Like, they could move the ball on Oregon, and they played really good defense against Oregon, right? Like, before Moore got hurt, it was 7-0 Oregon. Like, and I don't think people realize it was 7-0 Oregon, like in the third quarter. Like, so they started playing. They clearly played better defense against Oregon. Now, in those 2 weeks they had off, and I have never seen this before. If maybe anybody in chat has, if you had, Pickles, if you have, they installed an entirely new offense, completely new offense. And when the guy got hurt, the quarterback got hurt, he was making his second start ever. He got hurt. What did they do? They put in a true freshman who's built like Tim Tebow, throws like him too. and they ran right through They just ran the ball. They could not get open, and I'm not joking. They could not get open. 24 yards that the punter had was a fake punt, and he only got open because Washington went for the punt. They got greedy and tried to go for another. They had already blocked a punt earlier in the game, so they tried to do it a second time. And let's not act like Wisconsin was like moving the ball up and down the field on Washington. They did. Washington had 2 turnovers that put them like 15 within 8 yards of the end zone twice. You can't do that. Like, you just cannot do that. And if you do that, a team can get 8 yards running the ball 4 consecutive plays. They're going to do it. 4th and goal, it's a touchdown. Like, what do you know, is what it is. So it's just
Pickles.
Elements. It was.
I don't. The elements is not a valid excuse when you live in the state of Washington. Ironically, Luke Fickell's greatest success was when he did what every Wisconsin fan wanted him to do and ran the dang ball. Imagine that. And Wisconsin still has an extremely stout defense. Washington couldn't run, and this isn't me talking smack about the Badgers, but just mistakes by Washington cost them. And I don't know why Damon Williams, he has slow starts in several of these games, even the games where he puts up big stat lines by the end. Yeah, he just has slow starts, and I'm not sure why. And it's like every game where you see him, it's like he just like is missing or slightly off, and then it hits the switch, and then he's outstanding. He never hit the switch in this game because Washington had receivers open, and they were able to make some plays, but he just kind of was not, in those critical downs. On the 3rd down where he converts for 15 yards, he was missing the mark. So, like I said, credit to Wisconsin's defense. They were extremely stout against the run. But Washington...
That delayed blitz.
Yes. Washington had opportunities to score and did not execute. So, yeah, it is what it is. They were the better team on the day.
Fair enough. I'm going to chalk it up to travel. I'm going to say it's that travel curse has struck again. West Coast schools coming to old school Big Ten schools, and vice versa. Speaking of vice versa, let's talk about Northwestern against USC on Friday night. USC, of course, aerial attack galore. Really took care of Northwestern, I felt, but I feel like this is not it's the most complete team that Lincoln Riley has had at USC since he's been there.
I would agree with that. I think because they had 173 yards rushing on 30 carries. They only threw the ball 34 times. And one of those throws was by a punter.
Oh, yes.
Which
was illegal.
It was illegal only because the rule says you can't have 2 players at 2 different positions. You can't have 2 players who play the same position with the same jersey number. So, place kicker and punter can have the number 47, for instance, but quarterback and kicker cannot both have number 80. And you put him in there to do it, apparently, is what the conference said. And I'm like, okay, he's been number 80 all year. How come nobody said anything? By the way, he's been number 80 all season. People don't know that, but yeah, it wasn't the deciding factor, but man, did it catch. It caught Northwestern off guard. It was a pretty smart play. It's a very smart play, but I watched this game start to finish, guys, and I'm telling you, USC, I don't think that they can win a playoff. I don't think they can win a national title, but I think they've got the pieces starting to show. They're getting really good. They're getting really good quick.
They're getting complete.
I agree with you, Mon. I think it's the best team complete because he's had a better offense, clearly, with Caleb Williams, but he's not had a defense this good.
Yeah. What do you think, Pickles?
I wasn't able to catch most of this game, to be honest. When USC's offense is clicking, again, it's classic Lincoln Riley. It looks really, really sharp. Quarterback play has been the determining factor of their season. But yeah, Becky's right. The defense, I think the the defense was the bugaboo for Riley, and this one is still prone to giving up some big plays, but definitely talented. And if they can stop the run, their offense can certainly outpace other teams. My prop bet that I wanted Moen to make that I forgot to tell him before this game is he should have put the over-under on more wine being served at this game than beer to the fans in attendance. Kind of a snooty cheese plate party.
They did not have that on FanDuel. I looked. Was not there. Sorry.
There were probably more people in fancy seats and press boxes than in the stands for this kind of game.
Yeah. But it was a fun game. I like watching Maeva roll out and throw. I think that's when he throws best. When he's in the pocket, I tend to worry more when he's in the pocket than when he's rolling out.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. I enjoyed it. Hey, look, it ended the way I expected it to end. USC covered.
They did cover.
Moving on, they covered. Moving on to a team that did not cover and screwed up 3 parlays for me. Indiana at Penn State. What happened to Indiana at Penn State?
I don't know why this was such a slog, but Indiana's, blistering offense, I don't know. Penn State's still good on defense. We've always known that. Obviously they found some kind of motivation, not playing for Franklin anymore. They played for pride in their home stadium. I'm sure we're going to talk about it because I caught the very end of this game. That might be the most incredible touchdown catch I've ever witnessed with my own eyes. That was absolutely insane. I can't even explain how crazy, close that catch was to just being out.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought he was out. I thought he was too,
but then they hover thank goodness for 4K cameras, because otherwise he might have been called out.
I was like, whoever that ref is the best ref in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I don't know how he saw that.
The only one with LASIK, apparently.
The only one.
But let's be honest. We're talking about Penn State's defense. They had that game won. Well, offensively, they had the game won. They would not go for it. Just run the ball. They played safe. And they were a team that didn't need to play safe, man. You've got an interim coach. If you really like that coach and you want him to beat, go for it, man. Go for it. Throw the ball. Don't play to not lose. Play to win. But that defense, Mendoza just shredded them. He shredded them that final drive.
Yes. Before that, it was hit and miss.
Before that, it was hit and miss. But, that final drive when you needed him the most, he was
money the whole drive.
That was his... He might not win it, but that was his Heisman invite moment.
What I thought they messed up on was I think they went prevent a little too early in that drive. I think that's where the big issue was. They went a little bit of prevent, and that, because you could see them giving space off the line of scrimmage where they had been playing press at times during the game. This time they did not. They were 10 yards off the line of scrimmage against the receivers, and I was like, I think you guys are doing a little too early here. And yeah, sure enough. I will say this. Penn State, this is the Penn State we thought we were going to get defensively. This is what we thought we would get defensively all year from Penn State, right? They finally played like the Penn State we thought they could be. I think if Drew Aller plays, this is a different game. They probably win this game if Aller plays. But no Aller, it is what it is. Like I said, it took a ridiculous play to beat them. Because I thought the kids were about to storm the field. I'll be honest. I don't know if you guys could see that. They looked like they were ready to storm the field. You can see them getting tight, the student section, getting tight. Suddenly I was it wasn't sold out.
Yeah.
The game was not sold out. There were empty seats all over the place in that stadium, which I've never seen for Penn State. But
against the number 2 team in the country, insane stuff.
They thought they'd get blown out too, and they were like, "I'm not going to go watch that. I'll just watch." Clearly, they watched it at home because the game got huge rating. It was like 7 million people. So
Yeah, it was the most watched noon game, which is saying something because you had Texas Tech and BYU, two top 10 ranked teams, playing head to head at the same time.
yeah, which clearly shows that people are going to tune into. They still tune in to like watch big games over anything else.
Well, people do what I do because, you know, I'm wrangling children at the same time, and you flip through. If your team isn't playing, you flip through the scores and you're like, oh, that one's close. Let's kick that on for a minute.
They said that at the touchdown, it peaked at 11 million viewers, the most out of all of the games. And
yeah, because it's like last minute drive to win. I think there's probably, well, I don't know. Did ESPN send out a notification, or because we're not SEC teams, they didn't kick out the last scoring drive? Ooh, doodaloo, doodaloo.
No, they wouldn't do that because they can't just like cut into it live. But they
haters.
But Fox was, I mean, it was on Fox, and people started realizing and checked out that score. People like,
neutral observer, like
they did have the upset alert on. I was at a sports bar with a friend because we wanted to have brunch and we were watching the game there. And they did have the alert pop up, upset alert after the touchdown by Penn State to go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Or the field goal or whatever it was. And I was like, oh, boy.
That'll do it.
Boy. So that's when people went, whoop, because they had to kick off. Or punt. I can't remember if they kicked off or punt, but it was like right at that point. Because we started, we asked the bar to change the channel so we could have it on the bigger TV instead of the smaller TV.
And then at 1 o'clock, we had on the Big Ten Network, Ohio State at the mighty Spoilermakers of Purdue. If you didn't watch this game, Carnell Tate was out, and it didn't make a difference. Ohio State still scored it well. They did give up some points, though. They had their second-string defense come in at the end, and the second-string defense did give up a touchdown. Ohio State did not cover, which ruined another parlay. Thank you, Ohio State, and your second-string defense. Those guys can just wait on the sidelines. They don't need the practice. You make sure you cover first. But, yeah, it was not a very competitive game at all. Julian saying, again, people saying that was Mendoza's Heisman Trophy minute. I don't know. Julian saying just throws for 300 yards, a few touchdowns, 86% completion rate. I don't know. The kid's either really, really good or the receivers are really, really good or both.
Well, but, I mean, Lincoln Kienholz had a touchdown. You know, it's not like saying was the only quarterback that played. Kienholz played, clearly. But it was 3-0 Purdue after the first quarter, and I was like, oh, boy, are we really doing this?
Yeah, and we had there was a 65-yard rushing touchdown that was called back due to a hold by Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah,
so,
which, like, we all know this. Wide receivers hold every stupid play, and it gets so annoying.
They are very bad at blocking,
They're
usually.
so bad at blocking.
Unless you are prime Seahawks Jermaine Kearse. That dude could block.
Well, or Jeremy Bernard at Alabama is a
that too.
ridiculous blocker. But, like, that second quarter, Ohio State was like, okay, done. Like, you scared. Okay, you're playing Spoilermaker. We don't like this.
Yeah.
Just foot on the gas, and it was like ball game.
Yeah, I've often wondered if Kurt Signetti coached this Ohio State team, they'd be hanging 70 burgers on everybody. That's just the way he rolls.
Right.
Yeah. Signetti and Lanning would both drop 70 on everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Toledo, let's hang 100.
But you can see when like teams play really good defense against Ohio State, you see those games because you're like, oh, Ohio State's having some issues, and you're like, okay, like Illinois and Washington were able in Texas, you could see that they were the defenses were able to play well against them, but like this is one of those games where it's like, oh yeah, we're Ohio State, can't lose.
Yeah, I'm not trying to criticize Sayin, but I think it's the same thing with Ty Simpson at Alabama. He is a very good player on a very good team, so he's going to get a look. I don't know if he's like, the engine that makes the whole thing go, because he's surrounded by talent everywhere. It's not a knock against him. It's not his, why would it be a knock against him? He's surrounded by excellent players, but it's going to maybe, even like whether fair or not, it's just going to diminish the perception. Whereas you have someone like Mendoza at Indiana, despite the success they're having, they're viewed as a less total talent, composite team, and he's still putting up crazy numbers.
It's a question that, like, what people are asking, and it's a fair question: is Sand elevating the talent around him, or is the talent around him elevating him?
Right.
Like, I get it, but like, he's still a really efficient quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't make the little mistakes. He gets out of that pocket. He throws the ball away, or he tries to run and get what he can. I give him credit. I think he's a really smart kid. I can see why a certain Hall of Fame head coach, a future Hall of Fame head coach, liked him at Alabama, like, and had him on the roster. Like, I get it. Like, I totally get it. Like, he's a really good quarterback. And I think, yes, he has good wide receivers, but he's still calling out protections, guys. He's still changing plays. He's still doing the little things, and he's doing all that right. I think Mendoza, to me, is the Heisman front runner in the Big Ten. But I have no problem saying Sands one of the top 5. Like, no problem with that. Because I think Jeremiah Smith should be in the Heisman conversation. Yeah. Right? I would pick him more than Sands.
And I think that's what's going to hurt. I think that's going to hurt both of them. And I think that's probably why Mendoza does win the Heisman, is because Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sand. They're going to split the vote there.
You could always pull a Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush thing and still make it work.
I think we just need Ohio State to have
Sands year might be next year.
I just think we need to have a game this year where Ohio State is having – somebody's giving Ohio State none of it. Like, they're not scoring. It's tight. It's late in the fourth. He has to make plays to win the game. Like, he hasn't had that yet. He hasn't played from behind.
I mean, there's always that last game of
7-0 is fine, but like,
there's always that last game of the regular conference season. Yeah, if he has a moment in that one, that's gonna put him. Probably put him in New York.
Here's what we do know: that team up north, that Michigan team plays better at the Big House than they do on the road.
Yes, they're not good. They're not a great road team, but I will say this: if they do get past that team up north and they have to play an undefeated Indiana, I think that would probably be the game. That would be the game where one of those two quarterbacks is going to make a statement and win the Heisman Trophy.
I mean, if it's a duel back and forth, you could see both of them as top 3 finalists.
Because I think if we're talking quarterbacks, Heisman Trophy quarterbacks, it's 3 players: Simpson, Stan, Mendoza. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. And Simpson's on there because he has like 1 pick. The dude doesn't turn the ball over, and he's lighting it up at Alabama. So, which is fair, but he has had, like Mendoza's had, the opportunity to win ball games in tight situations. Sand just hasn't done that yet. And I think if Sand does that, different story. But I do think Smith should be the Heisman favorite out of Ohio State's players rather than Sand right now. Not saying Sand won't earn it, but I think Smith's the.
Yeah, Smith, if you're going to say the best player in college football, it's Jeremiah Smith. It's not even. I don't think it's even up for debate.
Nope.
Let's cover one more game because I know you guys were excited about this game. Oregon at Iowa. Who would have thought Iowa would have lost a game in that fashion?
I mean,
Iowa.
Very non-Iowa, I got to say, but Becky, how'd you feel about it? I was just honestly thankful that it wasn't as one-sided as I thought it could be.
I said at the beginning of the year Iowa would win this game. I called that. So the fact that they lost was simply because their defense failed them. I don't even know where to begin with that.
Yeah.
But special teams, the safety. The safety was the difference in the game.
That was such a weird play.
In this game.
Yeah,
But
Iowa doesn't get safeties against them; they cause safeties. What's up with that?
But their punter practices that crap. He didn't even like hesitate. He just kicked it immediately,
Yep.
and then went and kicked it a second time. I thought it was a great game. Like I do think Oregon they have a quarterback who can't play well in the conditions. Like it's raining. Granted, again, he did have the concussion at in Autzen, so he did have that, but he had he was not playing well before that concussion in Autzen in the downpour, right? But Iowa, same conditions, almost borderline snowing. He couldn't do it. So
You're muted, Pickles.
Hello. Despite Oregon winning, I still have questions about Dante Moore. I think he can put up incredible moments. It's similar to Maivia at USC. Incredible athleticism, can roll out of the pocket and do stuff. I know he's had some small injuries this season, but he just not always the most consistent. And if he's not on the money, Oregon's offense, like, I'm surprised that their run game can't carry them when he isn't quite as sharp as he can be.
Well, they're loading the box. They're just loading the box.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're just saying, okay, we're not going to let you beat us running the ball. Iowa, and I said this, I was like, Iowa's defense is physical and fast enough to keep you from getting to the edges. They're going to keep you in the middle. They do a great job of containing everything and forcing it all back to the middle of the field.
Yeah, their linebackers are crazy good.
Crazy good. And their corners are crazy good. Their safeties are crazy good. They tackle well in space. They don't make mistakes. They don't let you get past them very often. They're very disciplined. Where I thought Iowa would have issues would have been on their offense, because I was like, Oregon should be able to stuff your run. It's going to rain. Your quarterback has an FCS national title. I think he has a couple of them at South Dakota State, but he has 4 passing touchdowns entering the game. 4 passing touchdowns. The dude just runs the ball. So I was like, at some point, Oregon's corners are far superior to Iowa's receivers. And I thought it would have to be a sloppy game, and Iowa's the only team in all of college football that can turn any game they want sloppy, and they did it. They always do it. Like, Ohio State's the kryptonite for this crap. But even then, they can still sometimes turn Ohio State and Michigan into, like, slugfests. So it's a weird thing. I don't know what to say other than I thought that the 2-point conversion I thought it was good. Replay said it wasn't. And then the safety ended up being the difference.
Yeah. And I will say this about Dante Moore. I don't think he likes to be hit. Not that anybody likes to be hit, but I think he gets rattled very easily and starts hearing footsteps, and you could just watch it in his action. He starts pumping that ball.
He holds onto it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weirdly,
Oregon's offenses under Lanning are make the read deep. If it's not there, throw underneath. And that's what they do. One deep read, and then you're immediately hitting either a tight end or a running back or a receiver that's kind of hanging around for a bubble screen or something like that. It's never anything more than like 3 or 4 yards downfield. And then just let them go. But they always have the one deep read. And then he just sits there and he looks at everything else and he just stares at that deep read because he wants to hit the big play.
Absolutely. Well, that'll wrap it up for us here tonight. Let's do our one for the road. Pickles came up with that. Pickles, you go first.
Well, I already kind of covered that make daylight savings time permanent because I'm tired of going to work and coming home from work in the dark. I just little bit off topic. I hope Becky's right that the ADs are meeting every week, and it's like the Legion of Doom, where their silver evil fortress rises out of Lake Michigan, so they can all get together and talk about money and how they're going to make more of it. So that's what I hope our conference is doing.
Yeah.
All right, Becky, you go ahead.
I want to give a huge shout out, and most people don't know this. The University of Washington had a unfortunate passing of senior soccer player Mia Hema. She passed away from kidney cancer this last week. The outpouring of love from the Big Ten and other soccer programs from around the country was amazing. She was one of the best goalkeepers in the nation a year ago. Not a single team. She passed away Thursday. Not one team won until the women's soccer team entered the Big Ten championship game against Michigan State and won in penalty kicks.
Yep.
Of all the things, it came down to the goalkeeper, which is what Mia played when she was here at the University of Washington. So if you see orange on University of Washington players going forward the rest of the season, the rest of this year, it's in her remembrance and in her honor. So.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Wisconsin. They had a moment of silence for her before the game against the Huskies on the football field. So thank you to our Badger friends.
Yes.
Absolutely. Bring up a great point. Cancer sucks. That's why we have the Big Ten Cancer Research Consortium, which allows us to work together as a conference, as a unit, to defeat cancer and do research and trials and all that good stuff through cooperation and different grants. Since, I can't say enough how much James Cancer Center Hospital helped me. But it wasn't just the James Cancer Center Hospital. It was the Cancer Hospital at the University of Michigan. It was also the Cancer Hospital at the University of Indiana. That is known as the Leukemia Triangle, the Triangle of Research for Leukemia. We do all kinds of cancer research studies. So if you're looking for a good charitable thing to donate to, please donate to a Big Ten Cancer Research Hospital. That money does go to help save people's lives. Very good thing to do. For myself, for Sergeant Pickles, for Becky, I want to thank everybody for joining us this Wednesday on the
Wait, pause. One quick one. Shout out to all our veterans out there. It was Veterans Day yesterday. Go. Thank you, Daniel Gygax and Becky, and from myself, thank you to all of our fellow veterans out there who served.
Absolutely. Thank you to all our fellow veterans. So for myself, for Sergeant Pickles, for Becky, for my fellow for all the veterans out there on Veterans Day, thank you for your service. We will catch you guys next Wednesday for another episode of The Take. Until then, be good, be safe.